What is going on, my Impact fam? Welcome to Talking Points, the show where you get points for your talking points. Whatever. It's going to be a good time. This is the Bound for Glory version of it. So we have a lot to talk about, a little bit of what goes on beyond Bound for Glory as well. But if you want to watch our full review, check out episode 112 with Lucha and myself. With that being said, my name is Geoff. This is Talking Points. And let's get to our first player here. Io, what's going on, buddy?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Bound for Glory hangover. Bound for Glory hangover, call it that.
You telling me.
Burt, how you feeling, buddy?
Good. I thought it was an all-around good show. How are you guys doing?
Making it. Lucha?
Hey, I know what you're thinking. You want to be me like everybody else. You don't have the mental skill or the dexterity. Go on. Pick somebody else. Pick Hogan or whoever. Go on. Move. Go.
Bringing back the Nitro Nash there. So you guys could kind of see what kind of show this is going to be. We're going to, like I said, not go over every match specifically, but we're going to get into all of the talking points segment by segment, just in a little different way. But we're going to have fun with it. We hope you enjoyed Bound for Glory. I know there's some ups and downs and talking points about it. So why don't we just, let's get right into it. Start with Io here. Question I have first, guys, is, and if me and Lucha obviously talked about this on the show, but being there in Albany was totally different from, at least from my perspective, from what I watched on TV or have been able to so far. But that crowd, the venue, it all looked great, all sounded good. Do you agree? And on a scale of January to October, where does this place so far in the plus specials and pay-per-views that we've had so far this year?
Well, looking back, I kind of sort of had like this different kind of vibe. Like this show kind of felt different compared to the previous shows because obviously they changed the camera angle to like focusing on the crowd and the bleachers, which kind of gave like a fresh feel or so. But yeah, that Albany crowd was lit from start to finish. And I'm telling you, like lit, like you said, like it was kind of felt like different, being there, but also like watching on screen, like you can tell, like the crowd, they were just having a good time. So, I would say it's definitely at the top as far as like pay-per-views plus specials, definitely up there.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Like the top one or two.
Nice. Off the top of your head, is there one that kind of put some notice on it that
like a note from like a highlight from the pay-per-view?
No, just like a one that puts that one from the Bound for Glory on notice. Like is there one that's like, okay, this one, yeah, it beats most of them, but this other pay-per-view from this year is good.
Yeah. I'll say it beats most of them.
Beats most. Okay.
Like most of them, especially Hard to Kill.
Heard. Burt, what's up, buddy? What are you thinking there?
To just go off what he said and continue, I personally think that was the best live crowd from the sounding point to the way it was presented on TV. The whole 9 yards, I think it was the best.
I think we're losing them.
But that's a minor complaint. So I think that was the best sounding and looking TV product for a pay-per-view we've had all year.
Well, I'm going to give you an extra point, Burt, but most of what you said was echoed out. So if it was something negative, you still got a point for us. Just a little bit of audio, guys. We're going to roll with this and have some fun. But Lucha, why don't you wrap that one up for us?
As far as like visual, it kind of brought me back to the 2019 Bound for Glory in Chicago, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, because I think they did the same
Chicago
thing. Yeah, I think they did the same thing with the hard cam towards the crowd, which always makes your show look like 5 times bigger than whatever it actually is. So it was cool they did that. It was the best sounding crowd I'd heard all year. Um, I think the first time they went into Florida and they were live as fuck. I think that was the only other time that there was
Mm.
like a crowd that like really blew me away as far as their energy. And Chicago, because they were hyped for Emergence as well. So,
Yeah.
but it was, as far as crowds go, it's at the top of the list, followed by Emergence. Look at the venue, I loved it. The bleachers, beautiful. And like I talked about on the show, that monitor they had on the top,
Yeah.
those monitors were cool. I wish they would have like got seen a little bit more in the shot, but regardless, it was still cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I had mentioned as well on there, it was just I hadn't even noticed that, but it was like double entryway essentially because you got to see no matter where you're from, you knew who was coming out. You got to see it was a really cool little touch, and obviously that's I guess
Yeah.
the benefit of going to a place like the Armory that that has a little bit different setup. But I agree, man. Once again, being there and then watching on TV was, at least for me, night and day. Maybe not noise level per se. On some matches, I think from what I'm hearing, it will be. But the look of it, that shot was just, it looked, I mean, like they were in a coliseum.
Like small Timetrons were good as well.
Yeah, right. All right, let's get into the actual show. So, besides for the crowd putting ourselves over, the show started with the DMC match. We're going to Burt here. So, young title. This is the fourth holder of the title. We came close last with Gujar, and we'll get to his Brian Myers' opponent in just a second for this one. But when we look back on this, right? This title continues. This is the I hate this term, but mid-card title we've been looking for years. Where does Myers' reign, this one right here, when we look back on it, how important was it to keep this belt alive? I don't know if I'm wording that right, but I don't know, man.
This is something I never thought I would say, but I think that Brian Myers' reign has been the best with this belt since the inception of this title.
Hey-o.
I think you always want to have you rather have a heel that you want to chase, that you want to get people just want to see keep losing the title on a basis. And I think Brian Myers is that.
Yeah.
And I think he's every time and when he finds ways to just weasel out of a victory, I think that goes a long way in just keeping the title in the focus, because like I said, you just can't wait for to get this title off of him. You don't care who it is, you just want to see him lose. And I think that goes a long way into keeping a title relevant because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So I think Brian Myers has been the best person with the title so far.
Hard to argue with that. Lucha, you want to make your point?
My thing with the DMC, almost as important as the reign is like what you do post reign. With Jordan, post reign for her, she obviously ended up being the queen of the mountain, the juggernaut bitch, the knockouts champ.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see where Myers goes whenever he does drop the belt, and I think that will prove his true importance of the title, because it almost seems like it is a launching point to something else, whether it's a push or like a character change or whatever the case may be. So it's going to be one of those we'll have to wait and see as far as to figure out the true impact of, pun intended,
one for bad puns. Io, what's your thoughts on Brian Myers and his reign here so far?
Well, as the saying goes, it's not the title that makes the person that makes the title. And, Brian Myers is a prime example of that. Like, prior, folks already were just kind of, giving up already, downgrading the DMC title. Stupid name, yada, 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 this and that. But Myers, he kind of took the ball and ran with it. Actually treating it like, let's say if he actually won the Impact World title, he's actually treating it as it's the main prize, which is always a very good key in being the champion. Sure. But to touch up on what Lucha said, what matters is how how much of a launch pad the title can be. Let's say, because I mean, obviously, previous quote unquote mid card titles didn't really do much for certain wrestlers after. But that's for another story. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how far this digital media title can go. I'll probably like to see more defenses on a TV, but also on the actual main show. Like, because I feel like pre-show title matches, kind of like
the pre-show prince,
yeah,
as Lucha likes to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and good. And no, I don't know if you guys noticed, the DMC inspired gear. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Extra points for that, my friend. Yeah, that was. He's been killing it. I know Burt had mentioned before the White Ranger look, about that, him and Datia, and now it's the DMC. And like I said, man, at the merch stand there's a DMC Brian Myers shirt, like him with the belt, just old school 90s looking shirt. Really cool, man. Like someone who, and I was gonna wait to see if one of you guys said this, but for someone who literally was one of those that we're all stressing about, or people are stressing about, the Mias, the whatever, his contract was dates, and then when that expired, he announced he was a free agent, and then came back and did this run with this DMC title, and damn, man, it's been something. Let's continue on that train, because he did have an opponent here. Lucha, let's get to you on that. Dirty Dango, give me your 1 to 10 first on the fit for him in Impact, and then 1 to 10 on how many fucks you give.
Smooth 7.5 as far as his fit, just based off the cat can go in the ring, and also he's got that wonky ass what the fuck type gimmick that just fits perfectly in Impact for whatever fucking reason. As far as the amount of fucks I give, about as many fucks as a would fuck if a would fuck could fuck would.
So what you're saying is we're trying to not monetize this video. Gotcha. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Leap.
We were getting into money anyways. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Wait, what was your answer?
0.
Oh, really? Really?
I mean, he stays, yay. He, was only here for a cup of tea,
okay.
Yay.
Fair.
Either way, yay. They want us to believe in Joe Hendry, so.
Io.
Well, as I'll tell you a funny story. As I was cooking some dinner while the pre-show was going on, I had my back turned, just didn't want to miss any surprise pop or entrance or so. So, oh yeah, I remember, the YouTube had their issue thing, so I went on to the fight streaming. So yeah, Myers made his entrance, waiting for that big surprise entrance. See the graphic, Dirty Dango. I just turned my back and just finished cooking.
Oh no.
But that's all serious. Dirty Dango, Fandango, yeah. Always, put him as an entertaining guy. Very decent. Knows how to, get the crowd going. Yep. This and that.
Right.
But with Lucha, didn't really get much else about it. I mean, match was decent. I just wanted to. I just thought to myself, well, at least I know we're gonna get that. I'm gonna get that prediction point right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
The silver lining.
Yeah,
Burt,
the silver lining.
Burt, same to you, buddy. Your thoughts on Dango's fit, Dirty Dango's fit, and then how much you care. That's no disrespect. It could be,
As I'm rolling my eyes, and I'll answer this question. On the surface, he fits Impact pretty well. He's wacky. Impact loves their wacky characters, but at the same time, we don't need too many wacky characters. But we can always add to the roster. Padding the roster never hurts.
Yeah.
As much as I care, I really don't. But I'm willing to take the wait and see approach, because if Impact's done one thing in the past and they have a track record of it's proven me wrong with people I've written off. So he could be another Morrissey that I totally written off, but then I was completely sold on when he left. So before he left, so I'm gonna hold my breath and wait.
I'll give you points for admitting that, because there's a lot of people I think we all look at. Maybe you said Morrissey for you, if it's Taven or whoever it is coming in here, and I don't want to say a rehab project in all cases, but sometimes Impact gives them that heat or that pot, whatever that they need, and then they go and excel somewhere, and then they really they really proved me wrong with them.
That magic rub.
Yep, that magic Impact. And then one day we'll get the benefits of.
And you got to add in Macklin too, because when he right to the scene, I don't think much people really took much notice.
No,
but here we are. Fast forward.
Yeah,
Drew Galloway was just that other guy in 3MB before he got to Impact, and we created a star with him. Impact made Drew Galloway, so.
Ooh. Yeah. Lucha, you want to get? I'll give you one.
I mean, for better or worse, thanks to TNA Impact, Mr. Anderson is a former, two-time world champion?
Yeah.
And he was very much so on the way to being that in WWE before, I guess he refused to stop chewing gum or whatever happened. So, yeah, I mean, we
too dangerous in the ring, too.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, I agree with you guys. I think it's a wait and see. Because look, I'll admit, and I said this in a clip. I think that Heath just wasn't someone that excited me when he came in, right? And obviously the injury kind of halted his momentum. But it was someone that you take for granted because they're in the machine and they work great. Or at least they get by and they do whatever, and they're there for 10 years, and you forget, and then, oh shit, yeah, that's right. Go, oh shit, they can get the crowd over or whatever it may be. So I think there's opportunity for it, but I get your even keel approach to this. Let's keep rocking here, because next up was the Hall of Fame, and I said this, it's one of my favorite already. I think it had everything you would want from a Raven and Dreamer there induction, which I thought was cool. But I'm going to start with you. One, what's your, maybe if it's in TNA or Impact or not, one Raven memory that sticks out to you, and then two, who do you want to see in the Hall of Fame next year?
Oh, good question. Let's say two in particular. One, him winning the world title and the King of the Mountain. Just love how Don West, kind of like angst up, the anticipation, Raven is now the world champ. Yeah. That was an awesome moment. Two would be, I guess, the match with the feud with Abyss, and their rivalries and stuff. Oh, wait, no, the match with X-Pac, that Orange Clock. Oh yeah, Orange Clock or House of Fun match.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. And bonus points.
Sorry for my bad. And obviously the match with Shane Douglas, him getting his head shaved.
Yeah, and Shane puking in the ring. Yeah, it was a good time. I was gonna say bonus points.
Oh yeah, you asked me who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh
next?
yes.
I'll say James Storm. Probably James Storm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Burt,
Mr. TNA in my book. But,
I agree. I mean, literally match one. Well, not match one, but in there since day one. Burt, and then whoever can get it for me. Who was, if anyone knows, Waltman, Six-Pac, was a replacement in that match. If anyone could, if I'm not mistaken, if anyone can remember who he replaced, let me know. But Burt, same question to you, buddy. Raven moment that sticks out from your span of watching wrestling, and then on top of that, who do you want inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame next year?
I didn't see really much of Raven in Impact. I didn't catch his run, but just growing up in the time that I did, Geoff, I know you and me are about the same age. My first image of Raven is just watching WCW and then see him walking through the crowd. And I just think that, especially nowadays with social media, moments like that are lost on people, because back in the day, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who that was. I just see some guy that they're focusing on walking to his seat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty great. And then, gradually as the weeks go on, Tenay finally goes and interviews him. He asks him what's going on. He asks him why he's here. And then I'm like, okay. And so then Raven's just part of and then the flock is assembled. And I always just thought they were really, really cool. Very underrated faction in WCW,
Definitely.
I think. And then as far as who I think should go into the Hall of Fame, and I was kind of stole who I was going to say. I was going to say Beer Money.
One more time.
I was going to say Beer Money as a whole.
Oh.
Should go. But since he already said James Storm, I'm going to go with Eric Young.
Nice.
That's a good one.
And I think Eric Young, a person who doesn't get enough credit, like with this new thing that they're doing with DBD, constantly reinventing himself. What a guy who understands the business. So kudos to Eric Young.
Yeah, nicely done. Lucha.
A couple things come to mind with Raven. Obviously, like just sticking with TNA Impact. His debut, like, is crazy. He just comes through out of nowhere, DDTs Jarrett, and everyone's just standing around like, do we help or do we just stand here? Do we help or do we just stand here? And then he grabs the belt, and then everyone's like, ah!
Yeah.
And then we start chasing Raven. Like, what the fuck? And then he just, with the belt and shit, and dips with Russo.
McMahon fears Raven.
Damn right. Another one that no one really talks about, but it's just fucking dope to me. His freestyle rap on Diamond Dallas Page when he challenged him to Turning Point. Go back and watch it. He was rhyming. He had some bars for DDP.
What?
DDP got barred up.
Check that out.
I'm gonna find it on YouTube and I'll put it in the joint, and I think we should put it up on the channel. But like, DDP got barred up by Raven, and it was lethal.
All right. And now for a Hall of Fame.
I mean, every year before the person actually gets announced, I always say the same thing. If not now, when? For Tenay and Don West.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're not and completely
True.
taking out Don and his health and everything,
Right.
just them two as a pairing like that. They were the soundtrack for the company through its highest points, arguably. So I feel like the highest bit of respect would be to put Don and Tenay in there.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something more than just Impact's want. Maybe there's something where maybe Mike doesn't want to, I know because he's been very strong about not being on TV for a while, or kind of getting away from wrestling in general. And then obviously with Don, maybe he wants to be full strength or whatever. But I agree with you, man. When is the time for everyone to, whatever? And God forbid, you want it to be when Don's, he'll make it through, but you want it at his best. So all the love to Don West. So
Never say never.
Never say never. Burt, we're on to you, and the question I have for you, and I know you're gonna have a very lively answer for this. I feel it coming.
Oh snap!
But Frankie Kazarian wins his 5th X Division title. Okay, Mike Bailey loses his first before hitting the records that we've all been talking about for months. Months now. What's the bigger headline here? Is it Frankie winning, or is it Bailey losing?
I feel like me saying Bailey losing in some way, form, takes away from Kazarian winning. But I just have been scratching my head about this for a long time. I don't think in any way, shape, or form Mike Bailey is ruined. But this would have elevated him to another stratosphere if he would have broken this record. And on the way, essentially, if he would have beat Frankie Kazarian, if they could have somehow worked a way for him to beat the record by beating Christopher Daniels in the process, I just don't get it. But like I said, it doesn't take away from the match. The match was phenomenal, just like every other X Division match is. I have no problem. And just real quick, I don't know if anyone's made this comparison, but when Christian beat Kenny Omega, that was technically two AEW.
Oh, buddy, we're losing your audio again.
I would say you look at Christian as a TNA guy when he beat Kenny Omega, even though they were both technically AEW guys, and it was like the lesser evils to kind of get the belt back to Impact. The same thing right now. I know Kazarian is an Impact, technically an AEW guy, but he's fully an Impact history guy.
Right.
But still, I just don't think that there was any reason to put the belt on anyone right now, and other than Mike Bailey. I just don't get it.
It's a fair point. I'll get Luchas in here and swing it to Io. I get your point. I think Thursday is going to be, we got to see where it goes. But as far as what it does for Bailey, I think that's more important, right? I think that's what we got to, as long as he's taken care of, I think we're all happy, and I'm with you. It doesn't take away from the match and stuff. But Lucha, your point here.
I mean, if we're so concerned about, stats and Mike Bailey's place in history and everything, wouldn't the bigger picture be, yeah, he lost it, you know what I'm saying? He might have lost out on Daniel's record, but my man can go and get a second reign, and it's like, well, shit, if I can't defend it more than anybody else in one single reign, then maybe I'm on my quest to win it more times or hold it for more consecutive days. So he's looking at more parts of the history charts, the numbers to go after. There's no reason to call for the Bomb Squad to come in, you know what I'm saying? He's still on his track to history now. He's just going at it a different way, but we're still on the same path. The bigger headline, honestly, is Kazarian winning it, because that gives him his Booker T X Division title run. Five-time X Division champion of the world, sucker. So,
Give me that.
And wherever we go from here, you know what I'm saying? I'm here for the ride, as long as it's not in the flux capacitor, because if I was a wrestler, I'm not taking that move. It gives me anxiety.
It's a great move to watch. Don't want to be part of it whatsoever. I cry when I fall out of bed. Let's wrap it up with you, buddy. What's the bigger headline for you? And if you want to touch on the match as well.
Probably more. I would say both, but maybe more on Kaz, because Kaz, Kaz, he's obviously still more, the more of the veteran aspect and stuff. Because folks always say, I always read like folks say like, oh man, like he should stick around with Impact more, like he's being treated more than AEW and stuff. For Speedball, this is not gonna hurt him. Like I was agreeing with Burt, like I would have liked him to break Daniels' record, doing more 13 reigns, but as the saying goes, what matters, it's what you do after the title. So Speedball, hopefully, maybe in a few months from now, we can look back and just say, hey, this is the title reign that elevated Speedball into the new, the new hot streak, or whatchamacallit. Because we have 50, 49 X Division champions, and about how many of them have done a lot since then, you know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
So it's just,
that's fair.
But for Kazarian, sorry.
No,
Kazarian, I'm gonna wrap up. Kazarian, I feel this is probably gonna be different compared to Omega and Christian. I mean, obviously AEW guys, but Kazarian, he loves Impact.
Right.
He's a proud original that's proud that the company's still going. I remember watching the promo he did after the match with Saban, letting them know hey, don't let anyone discount Impact. they're here, they're still here because they earned it.
Yeah.
And yeah, him and Scott go way back, so I figure we're gonna get a heck of a X Division title reign. Plus, a lot of talent would love to work with him. So see what goes from there.
Yeah, I think that's where it comes down for both of them. I mean, we don't know, spoiler free, mind you, but it's a matter of where we go from Thursday on. I think for both of them, and I just can't see. I think Bailey is still got our hopes up for Team Canada, but he's still no matter what, he's going to be on that top of the card, no matter whatever way we look at it. Let's keep
You guys
this.
just sold me, by the way, on Kazarian holding the title, because at the end of the day, that you can just you can tell that guy believes Impact. So at the end of the day, that's all you want is someone who wants to be there. So that goes a long way in my eyes.
Yeah, the wanting is the key there, for sure. Lucha, we're back to you, and the next one up is Mickey versus Mia. And what I got for that is she kept the last rodeo going. We weren't sure I think we all expected that to be the result there. But a good match nonetheless. We're going through the roster, though. Who's next up for Mickie James?
Lucha. I'm trying to think.
Oh.
Sorry. There's fuck. It depends how much Mickie wants to test herself, because she could be out there talking smack, and next thing you know, we hear that whistle.
Ooh.
And is she gonna drop 2 in a row? And that'll be the intrigue. What I'm saying, is Masha gonna drop 2 in a row versus can Mickie beat Masha? And I mean, I feel like a loss to Mickie on the side of Masha's part, if anything, will just fuel because I'm looking at Masha and Macklin in the same level as far as the more they lose, the angrier the character gets, and then the more ruthless the character's gonna be going down their path back up to the top. So she can, not saying she can, just eat L's like PB&J's, but she can take a loss to someone like Mickie and still be Masha Slamovich and, not lose any heat. So I will say, me personally, I would love for it to be Masha.
Okay. Ayo.
Very good match. I'm enjoying, last rodeo of Mickie. She's just putting on bangers, with the best out there. I love the good spots in it. Obviously, one special spot where, you guys remember the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair match, that Shawn did the "I'm sorry, I love you." Mia did the exact same with the "I'm sorry" and then the "eat the feet."
Yep.
I'm like, yes. I got that film because that's how exactly I want it to be. I want it to be similar to Flair's, career-threatening matches and stuff. Because when, unfortunately, it's going to happen when she takes that loss. You just want the crowd giving her an ovation, her and her send off. Yeah, but that's till later. But great match. Mia, she's a very good technical wrestler, so I kind of like how she wrestled her game instead of Mickey's game, which is always the best thing when you're facing a veteran. Don't play their game, play your own game.
And who do you think her next up is for this last rodeo?
Good question. I mean, the division is the good thing about the knockout division. It's stacked. She can face anyone from Tasha, the Killer, the Savannah, to Vex, to even Taylor Wilde. I would like to see that one.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And potential knockouts outside the company, but we'll just go wait and see.
That's fair. That's fair. Burt, wrap that one up for me,
bud. I enjoyed the match. The Impact does these storylines very well. It's always going to be in the back of my mind, Kurt Angle's final storyline with Impact where he won the belt, and I think that they kind of booked it when he was going to lose. He was going to retire. Same thing. Impact does this very well. And I said, Mickey's matches have been great. She always puts on great matches. As far as her next,
Audio's fluttered, bud.
I think it's going to be Tasha and Savannah, but obviously Savannah will wrestle her first, and we could have the commentary saying, well, Mickey might not even make it to Tasha. Savannah could beat her. She once again making Savannah look like a monster, but coming up just short in the process. And then she'll go on to wrestle Tasha. I would not have Mickey in this run wrestle Masha because I don't think that Mickey. I would rather have.
Lost you again, buddy.
I said I would rather have Masha be the one to retire Mickey down the line as opposed to Masha being one of Mickey's victories on the way to winning the title. I don't want to see Masha lose again right now for a while. So I would have. I think Tasha and Savannah will be her next two opponents. But yeah, I wouldn't have Masha a part of this at all.
No, that's fair. I'll keep this going. Speaking of Mia, obviously I think we all agree, great addition to the roster, but might be a subtraction now. So the question is, and it's a quick one here, how do we feel about these 6-month guest star roles? 6 month, 9 month, obviously with OGK in them, but this one's a 6 month. Obviously, your thoughts on if this is the last moment for her? Is this something we should keep doing, or?
It went by so quick.
Yeah,
I remember thinking like we watched like they showed the Under Siege video of her returning,
yep.
And I'm thinking to myself like, damn, like that was in May. And here we're in October. I'm like, 6 months already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what did she get out of this? What did we get out of this? No offense to me, but I'm like, what did we get out of this 6-month deal? I would prefer I prefer they do maybe year deals going forward. It's told at least we kind of get something out of these talents.
Some kind of substantial. Yeah, I get you. I feel it.
Yeah.
Burt.
I mean, because a lot can happen in a year or so.
Yeah. That's fair as well.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Burt?
Look, I'm never going to be a fan of a short deal per se, but if it's a product of what Impact has to work with, then I think that they're doing the best they can in the circumstances. I like the fact that the model they kind of had with the taping schedule where they're establishing a core roster, but it allows them to bring in people for a couple months, like we saw with Aussie Open. We've seen, countless other people. But, again, at the same time, it does suck when a lot of these, when they pile up like this, when there's a lot of contracts all at once coming up, when they're sporadically happening and it's fine. But I think this one is hurt because there's been so many other contracts coming up lately. And I didn't think that she was going to leave. I think she would be one of them. But I do think she'll be back.
That's fair. I think this is her home as well. It doesn't mean she stays this time. I don't know. But once again, the game is changing outside of Impact, So from where she left and then, once again, not a rehab, but a refresher for her to love wrestling and to get herself, into where she's ready to show the star that she is. So, I think there's a double-edged sword with it, but I don't want to take it, take away from Lucha's points. So, Lucha, what do you got for this, bud?
Yeah, like I was saying, it seems like yes, it was 2 weeks ago when Mia came and made her debut. She stepped to Deanna.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That legit seemed like it was a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh shit, okay, so Mia's here chilling. What do I think about the 6 month, the 6 month deal or the short term deals? I don't see how I see how it's a negative, but I don't see how it's a negative because on one end, you got someone in, we had Mia for 6 months. She came in, she had, some good matches. She won some, she lost some, but we're not sitting here with a situation that allegedly AEW and WWE has / have had where there's people who sign a contract. they get to a certain part of the card and, they're not being used or whatever the case may be. They don't like their schedule or whatever. And they're like, all right, well, I want out. How much time I got left? 3 years? Fuck. So we don't have that situation because, with the short-term deals with people like the people who we've had coming in on those. And everyone, for the most part, on their way out, they've always talked positive about their time there, which keeps the door open for them to come back whenever that chance happens. I think Mia stays. I don't think she was expected to stand on those words of she's going to retire in Impact so soon.
Yeah.
Due to recent changes in places.
Yeah.
So,
but she can always come back for it.
Yeah, she can always come back, regardless of what she does. But I do think she's going to end up staying because I think if you want the rodeo to last a little bit with Mickey and have a little bit of legs on it, it would be cool to kind of give you a different variety of matches, maybe throw in some tag matches.
Yeah.
In the rodeo.
Also, I remember her saying she wants to wrestle and hang out with her friends and stuff.
Right. And that's what it comes to.
You can have the best of both in Impact. So.
That's the key is where friends, where's the, it's got to be that perfect story. And that's what I tell everyone. It's the same thing as what do the wrestlers want? I know what we want, but what do they want? And maybe it is hanging out with friends, having a lighter schedule, having a good time at work. And it seems to be she is. So do you risk that? And we'll see. Once again, time will tell. But to keep us on track, let's keep moving. Burt, you're up next, buddy. So the Death Dolls capture the Knockouts tag team titles. Now, I know we're all for more branded tags. I know when they branded them right before Bound for Glory, I was like, that means they're winning. Son of a bitch. And it's nothing against them. We want more branded teams. I think it's just more of wanting even more, and I thought we could get Sue and Havoc out of that. But it looks like the possibilities there for this to grow, right? We have a threesome in the Death Dolls right now. But my question is it someone from within their group, Burt, or is it going to be another tag team that comes into place? Who the hell are Death Dolls going to feud with? Because it seems Vexed maybe needs a little time if it's for the wedding or whatever, I imagine.
This was my whole point, and it was nothing against. It was going to be whoever. This is my whole. I just didn't think that Vex needed to lose because if now I don't know.
Audio, bud.
Yeah, I didn't want the Vex to lose because I didn't see a clear opponent for the Death Dolls to face. Because what I didn't want is a situation where we're just going to keep having them trade the belts back and forth and wrestle back and forth. Because right now the women's, the Knockouts division, tag division is so thin. Mm-hmm. So I think if Vex would have won, that meant the Death Dolls would have moved on and they would have had to find some more teams, whether it was outside of Impact, which I think they should be doing. So, I don't know who they're going to have right now, who challenges the belts immediately, if they're going to form a new team. But I don't think they're going to clear up.
Yeah, I lost you a little bit there. It's I see there's potential. We just mentioned them in Tasha Savannah. Maybe that's a route. I hope. That's what I've been hoping. Lucha, do you see another tag team coming out of this or forming from within or, to buy us some time before Vexed is back in the thick of things? If that's the case, I don't even know. I don't know if that they're gone for a bit or not.
Well, the thought of Tasha Savannah being the ones to take on the Death Dolls is a great one, especially when you consider the half history that already exists within these teams with Fire and Flavor versus Rosemary and Havoc. So now you have half of both, but with different dynamics. Yeah. Tasha on her 95-96 Shawn Michaels run with Savannah Evans as Diesel. And you have... That's honestly how I look at that pairing, and that's why I want all the gold for them. Yeah, so I want them to have all the gold because of that alone. And then you got the Death Dolls with Jessica, who was Havoc first, and now she's sick.
Right.
So with Taya, not Rosemary. So, different dynamics, different shades of the same color. And you'll see what that mixture makes. So there's history in that. Other than Tasha Savannah, we got to see if Taylor Wilde's gonna be, Dolo, or if there's someone that she can swing in with. If Giselle's gonna finally be able to finagle a tag partner. I don't know why they don't have her and High End team. I'm pretty sure they actually teamed at one point.
Good point.
So I mean, that to me, that's kind of like right there in their face.
Yeah. No,
But there's places to go, but I'm looking at Tasha Savannah. Yeah.
Heard. Yeah, no. Giselle and Mia would be I mean, they seem to be buddy on TikTok and all that stuff. So I mean, that could be another team for both of them. Could elevate both if she sticks around. I like the knowledge there with Hyen. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. And I still think, man, we don't talk about it, but Rosemary hasn't been a heel in a hot one. And if she screws over Death Dolls to do her own thing, maybe Sue comes back with her. I don't know. You want to wrap that one up for us?
Yeah. I'm still kind of in disbelief, to be honest. Like, obviously, like, I think going pro, I think we all picked, Vex kind of retaining the titles, kind of showing more like, a solid champion in the tag division, which is what the knockouts are kind of lacking. Yeah, I'm mostly in agreement with Burt's, like, trying to figure, like, where they're going to go with this, like, because it seems like another hot potato with the tag belts, and the Death Dolls will likely drop it before January, but that's just my take. But,
Bold.
Yeah, for the Death Dolls, I would like to see them do the Freebird rule, because... Well, I'm glad they got a name, kind of see like the whole mix up they can do with Taya and Rosemary, or Taya and Jessica, or Jessica and Rosemary. It kind of gives a good mix up, similar to like when New Day did the Freebird rules and stuff.
Yeah. Gives you options.
Freebird would be crazy.
Yeah. I wanted to say real quick, I like that comparison Lucha made of Diesel and Shawn Michaels to Savannah and Tasha. I just wanted to say, I think why Savannah reminds me of Diesel. She's a little intimidating, like Psycho Sid was. More Psycho Sid vibes.
Sean and Psycho Sid.
I would like to see Taylor, in the tag division, because she's the inaugural tag holder.
That is true.
Reclaim her old baby back with a new partner or partner.
Her and Sarah Stock, or what was she? Sarita.
Yeah,
Sarita. Or she Rosita.
And not even
Sarita.
And Sarita's still wrestling. So I mean,
is she?
She is.
Real quick, not even to get points for this, but I got 2K running, and I got Tasha and Savannah versus Taylor and ODB.
Well, okay, some 2 throwbacks. Give you a point for that ODB reference.
Damn.
Points don't matter. We're all winners here. Lucha, we're gonna stick with you. This one's about OGK. So obviously we all know the rumors of what could happen. Once again, spoiler free. But it looks to be the writings on the door. Taven had 2 to 3 shirts for the merch stand, so I don't know how. I thought they were more closer to staying. We'll see. But they won here, and they retained. Was this the right decision to keep them on them? I won't lead you any way, or any of you. But from my point of view, with so many belts changing, and this one, if you read the sheets, you would automatically assume they would lose. Was it smart to just kind of change it up, or do you see another reason for it? Are they sticking around? What's your thoughts on them keeping the belts?
Well, I believe I said this in a past episode that there's a unexplored conclusion to this story with Rhino. So now that he's back,
Right.
what I'm saying, it would, if OGK are gone out the window, what I'm saying, it would at least be in the best interest to wrap that part of the story up. So maybe maybe we do get, now that Rhino's back, we do get that bow to put on the box that is OGK's run and Impact.
That's good.
If they leave, you know what I'm saying, I just threw a tag team that can enter the division right there with Heath and Rhino. So I mean, it's not like the numbers will be any lesser.
Yeah, I think you're right, and we'll keep this train moving here. We're a little bit beyond time, but I think, I mean, you talk about this a lot on the other show. There's a lot of depth in the tag team division. I think IOU actually shared it. The Raj and Shira one, that they're getting a match against Motor City on BTI. There's a lot there. There's Decay. We all are very high on Black Taurus. So it's just about, I think, utilizing that depth. I think the numbers are there. Heath and Rhino being another one, but IO, your point there. Obviously a loss if they leave, but was it the right decision them keeping it to maybe surprise or suspend disbelief?
No. Well, I'm going to say that if it wasn't for that rumor a few days later, I'd be as thrilled as right now that they still are the champs.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to like the Good Brothers situation. Like their contracts are run up, but they're still the champs. So obviously it means the next tape in, they're probably going to drop it. But yeah, similar Lucha, I figure, Rhino's back, Heath and Rhino together. The poetic justice is right there, to finally conquer Honor No More by taking, their championships and stuff. But like you said, Geoff, like there is still a bunch of tag teams in the division. It's just about utilizing that mostly.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of like using them for like actual tag division.
Yeah, using them in tag matches for the belts and stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Yeah, right. Burt.
I fully can admit that I wasn't able to watch Bound for Glory live, so it kind of worked in reverse for me, where I didn't look at any results, but I saw the headline and with Impact, so it kind of ruined the match for me, which that's not fair to the match and the people in it. So now that I've come to realize it, I'm not bothered that they retain the belts. I think you made a great point, Geoff, that they didn't really want, if you think about it, have every belt change hands that night. And with the schedule, I don't think it hurts for them if they had to drop the belts next week, if they're technically not on a deal. It really doesn't matter. Again, like I just said, I let the fact that I saw the headline before I saw the match ruin it for me, which the match was great. So that doesn't take away anything. And as far as the tag team depth, I agree with both of you guys. Everybody. It's just using them more and putting them on TV. Just for a while, we were just so wrapped up in Good Brothers versus Honor No More. Those were the only two teams. So once we get this might be a blessing in disguise, losing Honor No More, because other teams might be featured. So, and like you said, there's ready-made teams. We've all been waiting for Decay, Black Truth, them to get a run. We've had Heath and Rhino. There's still more machine guns there. So I think we're fine. And obviously, the door is always open. So I think we're fine.
Great point. I agree with that. Having a little technical. Once IO's video's back, buddy, we could switch you back to where you are. But Io, if you're there, buddy, you're next up. And we're going to move our way to the Call Your Shot gauntlet here. So instead of doing it piece by piece, are you with us? We lose him. Yeah, let's see if we did. Let's see if he gets back in here. But obviously that's Burt's picture above. Io, you'll be below. So maybe we'll start with you. Oh, there he goes. Okay, there he is. He's back. He's live. Io, it's your turn, buddy. We're talking about the Call Your Shot gauntlet here. Instead of going piece by piece, we're going to speed it up a little bit. Let's start in quickly. We'll go through each of you, starting with Io here. Your favorite moment out of the Call Your Shot completely. Just the whole match in as a whole.
I'm gonna take a page out of or good, but BQ, you know, he mentioned that this was probably the best Call Your Shot match in history, minus the winner, which I took as a compliment of the show. But I'll say one of the great moments were, you know, the violence guys interrupting the match, which is, you know, obviously, you know, DBD doing his thing, which is pretty cool right now.
Yeah, that was cool.
Also, the WhatsApp with Bully Ray and Taylor Wilde.
Right.
Yeah.
Burt?
Yeah, really everything in the match was great except for the winner. There were a ton of highlights in my mind. I think they kind of not rehabilitating but reestablishing Moose as a dominant force. He looked great in that match. I like him and Macklin, kind of this feud that they have, and I'm not saying they need to always be wrestling each other, but I like that that's always going to be kind of the back of our minds. And then the VBD thing, I just think that is once again just another.
Do I need to say something?
It's more proof of Impact. It's just another proof of Impact's creative genius and how they let their wrestlers kind of do what they want to do in terms of creating these characters. And I just think this is just a new layer. Maybe I didn't think when Joe Dorian went down that it was maybe the end of DVD, but I didn't think that they would reinvent themselves this quickly, and they're already doing that. So again, great stuff.
I agree. Lucha, your favorite part from the CYS?
Honestly, looking back with everything taken into consideration and the fact that my opinion has completely changed versus when I first saw it live, especially with the negative reaction, my favorite moment was simply Bully's return and just Bully's involvement in the Call Your Shot altogether. Because like I said on the full review, if you guys want to go check that out, again, that's episode 112, not room 112. There's no peaches and cream, only fruit hoops.
Fruits and freaky fruits.
And freaky fruits. But no, I feel like, you know, it's about time we get some L's in these Call Your Shot cash-ins, or some different titles that people go for. So regardless if it is him going for a tag title down the road or him actually challenging for the world title and lose, that's what if I had Penn personally would do. But as far as Bully and him being my favorite part of the gauntlet, you could argue he was like all the energy of the gauntlet.
You know, honestly, I watched the pop back, man. From that point forward, it was
everything he did, from the tables chants to the was up to everybody he stood across from. He was involved in like all the pops. Yeah. So I give it to Bully, and that actually makes me like Bully winning a lot more because look at all that.
Yeah, no, it's hard to argue with that. It is because now you mentioned
he lit up the match, you know, like light up the crowd all the way towards, you know, the end and stuff.
Yeah,
which is good. It kind of gives the match Royal Rumble vibes.
Right, and that was the thing, was when he came, you know, it was a shock. I don't read the sheets, especially prior to it, or hadn't read the sheets. And then from that point forward, everything the was up, as you mentioned, the ECW stuff, even though Swinger to me was the highlight of that moment, but you know what I mean, like everything Bully was involved with. Let's keep it going. Burt, give me your least favorite moment of the thing. Let's try to keep it under a minute here.
Again, it was Bully winning. But Lucha changed my mind a little bit because it doesn't mean that he necessarily has to go for the world title.
Let's get that X.
Or he could take the digital media title, take it to Busted Open Radio, and name it the Busted Open title. That way, someone has to go to the radio and I don't know. I'm just trying to around to make it a little fun, but reason what it says, because when you hear something like the Call Your Shot Gauntlet and you look at the participants, I just always want to have the winner be elevated and see someone that you can see come out of it to be like, okay, let's keep an eye on them. That's somebody that you want to watch. So
That's fair.
I'm going to hold my opinions to see what they do with it, because if Impact does one thing, they always prove me wrong and they always have a plan. So they didn't go into this just not knowing what they're going to do. So
Yeah.
I'm going to wait.
Fair. Lucha? Least favorite.
Eesh. Watching, initially it was Macklin losing just because that was my pick.
Right.
Well, no, actually Heath was my pick, so there's that part. But other
He's who you
than-
wanted.
Yeah. Other than, that actually might be it, because that was a damn good Call Your Shot Gauntlet, from top to bottom. The fact that you had the storyline of Moose Macklin, Sammy woven in, you had the storyline of Tasha Kelly woven in.
That's true.
The fact that the knockouts pretty much stole the show. Killer Kelly coming in kicking ass from Get. There weren't that many low spots in the gauntlet, so the only one I got for you is Steve Macklin getting pinned, just because it's Steve Macklin.
Right.
But also, like I said, Macklin and Masha, with losses, they get hotter to me from how I see it. So I'm cool.
I agree with you there, man. It's just a matter of I'll give you an extra one for that. It's just a matter of what happens Thursday and on. Once again, but Io, hit us with your least favorite. You said you liked all of it besides for the ending, so is that where you're going to?
Yeah, one more. Joe Henry's entrance was pretty cool, thing. The crowd singing. I'll put that as another as my favorite. But for my least favorite, I'll say maybe Bobby Fish, coming out and then. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a
CM
thing.
Punk. Brendan CM Punk chants and stuff.
Yeah, that was interesting. And in my feelings towards Fish,
in his own hometown.
His own hometown was the worst. I don't know if you could hear us, but the people around me were like, "Shut up!" with the CM Punk chants. We were, come on, man, don't bring that shit in here. We're already mad at Fish for telling us that he doesn't know our roster. Like, why you gotta? Well, maybe it worked out better.
Fight.
Yeah, I want to fight. Lucha,
can only imagine how the tapes will be.
Right. It'll be interesting. So the last one I got for you, and Lucha will make this quick, go to Io and then to Burt, and we'll move on to the two main events. Who should have won the CYS? Or did the right person win? Because once again, this, and I'll say this before, because if no one says, yes, the point of the Call Your Shot is to elevate the person who wins, but wonder in this case if it's the person getting elevated is the person who will beat the Call Your Shot winner. And I think that's, in this case, Josh would be elevated by beating Bully Ray. But that's my point. Lucha, your thoughts on who should have won, or did the right person win?
Looking at it how I've dealt with the reasoning post BFG, it would be crazy to argue that the right person didn't win it. If they're wanting to book it to be someone that's like, oh, he can get a big pop. There's just something about Macklin pinning Bully Ray before Bully Ray cashes in his shot. So then, leading up to, because I believe Bully's gonna do it too. He's not gonna cash it in Edge style. He's gonna cash it in like, hey, I want this match, on this day. Be ready.
Fair.
And I think on the way to that, Steve Macklin's gonna get that pin back on Bully Ray. So then, while Bully Ray's like, yeah, I got a shot at the belt, blah blah blah, you got Macklin in the background. Yeah, but I beat you though.
Right.
So then, he has that claim to be next in line, because it's like, well, shit, if I beat the dude who's challenging you for the belt, after that, it only makes sense that I challenge for the belt next, right?
I agree. And I want to get your point on that real quick on that. I think that's another way to look at it, because we talked about it, but could you imagine Steve Macklin carrying on a little-ass trophy and saying, "Oh, I'm going to sneak and attack you and win." That's not what he's going to do. If we want Macklin to be elevated and be that dude, he needs to face Josh eye to eye. Penzer needs to be in that ring and say, "I'm the challenger on my left." It needs to be the real deal if Macklin's going to be the Joker to Josh's Batman or whatever. But yeah, that's my little point. Io, did the right person win, or is there someone else you had your eye on?
I'll throw you another surprise. Who, besides Macklin, who I thought was and would make like a good winner, PCO. Because like the story, because the story would be right there. Because for weeks or months, Eddie, Honor and More berating PCO, making him feel like the weak link of the group. What better way to like prove them wrong, to like win the call your shots, and then like we start the run in there. I mean, a lot could have happened there. Eddie maybe thinking, "Oh, I was wrong about you. PCO, yada yada," or hand me over to call your shot, yada yada yada. And plus, PCO holding the trophy would probably, be something to see. So
yes.
I'll say PCO Macklin will probably make good winners.
Okay. And Burt.
Really, it's all kind of about perception, because the right person won in terms of, if you think about it.
It's okay.
In most cases, someone wins a big match like that, you expect in your head to see them become the new champion. And so Bully winning, I don't think any of us think that he's going to win. So I'm glad he won, because I don't want to see someone like Macklin win and go take another unnecessary L, because I want to see Macklin. I didn't think anyone needs to be taking any unnecessary L's right now. And I don't think there was anybody in the immediate form that they had for Josh to defend against in the short term. So I think Bully's fine. Just another short term opponent for a next Impact special.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because they didn't show obviously what was said afterwards, but it was a lot of Bully putting over Josh, but then Josh also saying, if I'm gonna go down as one of the greats, that's one of my heroes, like the Rudes, or I don't know if he said Rude, but the AJs, the Joes, whatever. I need to beat people like you. You're a 2-time world champion, 51 or not. He's still in lore of Impact history. He's still Bully Ray. He's still so. To continue Josh's reign, you need some of these viable opponents. So let's keep this going to another world title. Well, we're going to hit both world titles, but first, the knockouts. What I want to know here, Burt, you're first up. Masha versus Jordan. Is this am I in the right order? Is it Burt first or Io? I think it was, I don't know. Either way, we'll work it out. Is this the best knockouts match you've ever seen? I see a lot of that online. I want to see where you're at.
Credit to Io. He was the first person that I said it. He said it and really got me started thinking about it. But yeah, I think it was, because I stood up. I was standing that whole entire match. There were moments where I thought Masha had it.
And
there were moments where I thought Jordan was gonna pull it off. She ended up doing that, but that's one of those matches too where it's rare when even the loser comes out a winner. And I don't think Masha comes out of that match looking weak at all. I think that when they run that back, whether it's when Masha's champion, she defends against Jordan, gets that win back. I think that it's great.
Yeah.
And I think Masha just looks like the next big monster in Impact, and I think that they did a great job making her, in defeat, still look like a monster.
That's fair. Lucha.
I can't say that that's the best knockouts match that I've ever seen when Tessa Blanchard versus Gail Kim from Rebellion still exists. Also, when Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim from Slammiversary years back exists.
Good one.
But notice those two matches weren't for the title. So as far as title matches, that's gotta be like title match. That might be the best title match that I've seen.
Nice.
Because other than the Iron Man or Iron Woman match with Jordan and Deanna, and that's just because I love that type of match
Yeah.
style. Um, Other than that, I mean, that's the only match that'll give it any competition, really. So as far as world title matches, that's got to be the best I've ever seen.
Good examples.
But to backtrack to the CYS, but also tie into the knockouts and the world title and all that,
Sure.
I'm going ahead and calling my shot for next year's Call Your Shot. It's time we get a knockout to win it.
I'm with you. I think that'd be cool. I know a lot of people thought Giselle, this was the year. Everyone was saying like, "Oh, Giselle's gonna be the." Hey, man, they all came, I know you guys already said, but to go back to that as well, every knockout was treated with such respect and character-driven booking in that match that it's beautifully done. Io, for you, buddy, this is the best knockouts title match you've seen, best knockouts match.
Yeah, maybe I went overboard. Find that. So I'm gonna say for championship wise, yeah, this is probably the greatest knockouts championship match. And there's been like a lot of rich history ones from the Gale, the Kong, Tessa versus Taya, Deanna and Jordan.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely up to the top because the match lived up to all the hype.
That's actually
every sequence, this and that. Just kind of kept everyone at their feet. So
yeah, that's the one that I want.
I just give this 5 stars. And Jordan, she's one of those one of a kind talents. Like she just gives it everything. You just gotta think of something, man. Like this is a talent that any company, I don't care who you are, would die trying to get her.
Yeah,
she is that good.
Yeah, it this is one of the matches I can't wait to watch back because in person I don't think I was nervous how we came off, and especially in the beginning we were kind of all burnt out at Call Your Shot. But then to see all these people say 5-star, one of the greatest knockouts matches, and I'm just like, okay, shit. All right, people perceived it that way. Now I want to see it, that way. But I think Jordan needed this big moment to really. Her first title run was kind of, I won't say the momentum was taken on it, but it was during 2020. It was during Corona, so she didn't get that.
Defined moment.
Correct, and I think this really helped that cause.
Her promo on the Go Home show was the best promo I've heard her cut since being in Impact. And I think, obviously, the wrestling charisma has all been there, but I think that she's putting it all together right now. And I think that her being, her being number one, I think that she's really kind of, I know Josh is a world championship, but this is just as much Jordan's company as Josh's company right now.
That is a very good point because that's exactly what I was going to say, man. Well, not only because that's what I was going to say, but I think we're all in that same mindset as an Impact fandom. It's Josh is our dude and Jordan's, is our knockout. Like that's they've created them. I would say created them. And obviously had their, they would have succeeded anywhere they went. But the investment.
We got our Superman. We got our Wonder Woman. Of the company.
There you go.
That's our Kurt Angle and our Gail Kim.
Oh shit! You guys are making me
essentially.
Get this.
Also, peep the referee from the match again.
Right.
He was officiating that match with some wonderful energy that just made me love it even more. And I really feel like I thought y'all like gravitated towards his energy of calling the match.
Okay.
But I know I did for sure.
Yeah, I need to look out for that.
You could also make the case that if Impact was going to ever run it back, having a knockout being world champion, that Jordan is a more viable candidate than Tessa. I just think that I buy Jordan more as being world champion, and I love Tessa. And I'm not getting that, but I'm saying I would buy Jordan as the world champion more than I would as Tessa. And that's
especially
just
now.
It's you to build Jordan the pop. That.
Yeah, that's hard to argue, and I do love Tessa as well, man. I don't know if I want to get back to that, but the match with Cardona and Jordan over the DMC really sticks out of how beautifully a really well told match between her and a dude for some it would really work. Like she has the blueprint for it, and it doesn't hurt that she can bench press all three of us or four of us combined.
Yeah, right.
So let's get to the main event here. We'll start with Lucha, Josh versus Eddie. I don't know what the expectations prior. I know everyone was kind of like, oh, it's gonna be a good match, but here's what we're excited about. Other than that, but man, did this meet exceed or not meet for some reason your expectations for this match?
I mean, it's very rare you watch a Josh match and that match not meet your expectation. Same goes for Eddie. So, put them two together. You just knew that you were going to get at least minimum 4.5.
Yeah.
So the quality wasn't any question to me. It was honestly, legitimately who's gonna win, because I didn't know. I didn't know if they were gonna keep it on Josh. There was a chance they could have gave it to Eddie, and then the Honor No More takeover would be damn near complete.
Yeah,
that was a bigger, high possibility in my head than it might have been for others. So that there, I was kind of weary about. The German suplexes from everywhere. Oh my god, that one on the apron was sick. The one on the floor was sick, and then the one on the ramp. Like, I mean, he didn't spend as much time doing this as I probably would have liked him to. But like before Eddie got Germaned, he was like looking at the camera. He's like, no,
that's cool.
At the camera, and then gets Germaned. So that was a dope spot for me too.
I agree, man. Yeah, I told you on the 112, man, the review, the thud that you felt next to when they did the one on the floor was insane. I was, that is a grown man's body just hitting that damn thing. It was nuts. Io, same for you, buddy.
Well, before I get to the match, prior to I was kind of swallowing my head thinking like, okay, how is this gonna go down? Because I think we all remember watching the aftermath, the interview with Josh, then Alicia and Eddie, doing their own segment, and I'm thinking like, like why is Alicia, why are they having Alicia doing this whole either it's gonna come to an end, tomorrow. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, she's gonna turn heel. She's gonna turn heel. Honor No More. Eddie's gonna win the title, and it even intensified when you saw Alicia and her kid in the front row, and then you have Josh's wife, Jade, and his kid in the front row. So all that was kind of swirling, thinking like, yes, something's gonna go down to this match.
Up.
Yeah, something's up. But for the match, that was like 30 minutes of all types of wrestling put into one. We got the Japanese style, the American style, even the UK style, all wrapped them into one. It blew up my expectations. And I always said this many times, and they say it again. Eddie Edwards is one of those guys that just brings the best out of anyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I think
put him in the ring with anyone, you're just going to get a great match out of him.
And it really helps when the guy staring across from him, we could say the same about, man. Josh is going to get the best. Yeah. Burt, why don't you wrap that one up before we get to our last question?
Yeah, I've forgotten the last time that Josh Alexander's had a bad match, because I don't think it exists. I think all he does is go out there and put on a clinics, and then when you get a pro like Eddie, you're just going to get magic. Again, I don't think it was the best match on the card. I think Jordan Nash, I love this match as well.
Mm-hmm.
Going into it, I did pick Eddie, and I know we've talked about this prior to this. It's not like I thought that Eddie deserved Josh.
Right.
direction they were going to go. So Eddie not winning, I'm still not sure where they're going to go, but the result doesn't take away from the match itself. And Eddie and Josh just went out there and put on, a great main event. So that's all you can ask for as a fan watching the show.
Yeah. I don't want to lose you there, so I'm trying to cut the mic back in. But man, I think no matter the outcome, and you guys all hit on it, it's what else should we expect out of these two dudes? But before we go, I want to end off. We got one more. We'll start with I'll work our way down here. As far as everything's said and done, we had a Bound for Glory. We all, I think, pretty much thought it was one of the best of the year as far as shows. What are we looking forward to the most? Getting answered, seeing happen, tying things up, whatever it may be. What are you looking forward to come out of these 2 weeks of tapings that came out of Albany? Once again, spoiler free.
Just the next big storylines, I would say, because BFG is their mania, so once after you kind of get excited to like, okay, here's the next chapter or the next season of Impact. Like, what are we gonna do that we haven't done before or prior?
Good point.
So, I would say, what's the next big journey, so to speak?
Awesome, Burt.
Again, like just to say what he said, I just think just set up the next thing, and obviously the easy thing would be to say, oh, let's set up who anybody's next opponents are, but I don't think that's the direction they go. I think that they kind of want to set up, maybe see who the next big maybe breakout star will be, or the next keep an eye on, just because, like I said, this is like the end of one chapter, the beginning of a new one. So we're almost at the end of the year, kind of refresh a little bit, start building things up, building things back up again.
Yeah, great point. And Lucha.
I'm gonna echo what Burt and Io said, but also with a little bit extra, because I know I'm looking forward to was it? Fuck. Sorry, Treehouse hit me at the wrong moment.
At least you're honest.
Take your mind to how Sami Callihan got eliminated in the CYS by Cody Deaner and EY. So now that the players are on the right teams, we get this EY and Sami beef, and the violence is just unlimited in that one. So the evolution of Sami and Eric Young is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most, as well as the continuation of Tasha and Kelly, because that hasn't got the bow tied on it yet because of Victory Road, how that ended DQ, and then Call Your Shot. There was no real progression made other than Tasha using Savannah to eliminate Kelly and Savannah, which that's another thing. There's a whole lot. The whole card basically is we got to watch on Thursday to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I can't.
And I think they gave us that at the end of the show.
That's one storyline you have to pay attention. You have to watch the whole show, and that's why they reward their fans for paying attention. Everybody has a chance to make an impact. No pun intended.
You guys are killing me. I want to give you all more points, but at the very end here, once again, it doesn't matter. You're all invited back. We'll give it to Lucha because...
One other thing, this was kind of like their celebration year. That's out of the way. What does 2023 defines the type of year for them?
That's fair.
The question.
Lucha, you got one more point for me? I gave them each one. You're tied at the moment. Give me something so you guys can all say goodbye.
Even with the Call Your Shot ending the way it is, how Slammiversary was a love letter to the last 20 years of the company, I think Bound for Glory is kind of a sneak peek at what the next year is going to look like, and also the future of the company with all the unanswered questions with people. So
I'll give it to you, buddy. Just for, especially for the love letter moment. Anytime when someone says a love letter, gets me a little verklempt.
It's hard to kill the next pay-per-view, like the next big.
Right.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
ATL.
And what month?
January.
Okay. For some reason, I thought Final Resolution was always in January.
It used to be. Yeah.
Okay. Some of these pay-per-views, I'm just blank on like when they used to be compared to where they are now.
Yeah, it's a little strange. And the Friday the 13th thing is pretty cool, so I'm hoping they play off of that. But we know Bray Wyatt's not going to be part of it, so he's off the table. It never was on the table, I don't think. But so there we go. Lucha, you're the veteran of this show anyways. You got the win here. You guys are obviously, thank you, of course. This means Lucha gets a little goodbye here. He's got his belt, of course. Homer. Now I want to take your points away. It's not my favorite belt, but it's all right. I'll give it to you. Give you your little cup. There you go. Lucha, what do you got for you? Well, actually, let's let everyone else get their buys in first. I want to thank everyone. Io, who continues to kill it for us at TNAIW channel on Twitter, man. Anything you see that's good is him. All the other stuff's me. And then at 23_revelation, that's his personal one, man. Keep up with him. Io, what do you got to say?
Well, it's really been a great year, as an Impact fan, of course. Had a good time doing this show. Yeah. All I gotta say is, subscribe to the channel, obviously. And, keep positive, Always, when you wake up, always, look forward to the positive things and stuff. So,
there you go.
Take care of everyone. Yeah.
Io with the silver linings, my friend. Burt, what you got? Wait, let me give you an introduction. Burt, every Tuesday, Burt and Datia on Go Power Rankings, man. Your one-stop shop for the top 10 of Impact Wrestling for the week. Okay, now Burt, what do you got for us?
I'll keep it short. Swinger Dice 2023. Let's give them something. I like them wheeling them in a little small ring. If at the least, let's bring back on a smaller scale Swingers Casino. Maybe put them in the basement of the building. Let's give them something. Let's give the people something to be happy about. And Chris Sabin loved it. He was always there. Bring back Swingers Palace.
Bring back slow motion Sabin.
Yeah, slow motion Sabin. Yeah. Lucha, you taking the cup here. You got the belt. What do you got to say, buddy? What's your plug?
I got the belt. I got the gold trophy. I got the gold cup. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet cup. The only thing missing is my gold Mike Awesome card.
One day,
my prayers will be answered. But you guys see me here. You see me there. You see me goddamn near everywhere. There's a chance that I'll pop up very soon somewhere else. Probably it'll still be here. Yeah, man, Bound for Glory was lit. Talking Points is always a fun show. I love kicking it with you guys, and it's not even debating, we're sharing different viewpoints that we had about the show in hopes to be the most competitive fan that is the biggest nerd in this shit, which is fun.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the camaraderie, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everything. Shout out to everybody. Shout out Diamond Villains. Shout out Mike G. The whole 9 yards.
There you go. And I didn't give you a shout out or your story. First of all, let's see the big old eagle. I know I'm sour about it because I'm a the big old belt more so. But this is a part of history. We gotta see this beauty thing. I'll stop giving a shit. Yeah, okay, it is beautiful. That's the angle belt. That's what I'd say. So it makes sense you have it. But yeah, as Lucha said, you see him here, there, and everywhere. But LOL TNA specifically restarts next Tuesday, October 25th.
The angle belt.
The angle belt. It's the angle belt.
Yeah, they got to do the custom. You know, like WWE try to do those custom title belts with the
with the two.
You guys want me to go get the Jeff Hardy belt? I have it.
You run while I wrap it up. You wear to Go Power Rankings next week. But yeah. Oh, well, you could catch, like I was saying, you could catch Lucha LOL TNA Season 2 coming up starting this Tuesday, October 25th. We're reviewing, what is it? Total Nonstop Deletion. And it is the Halloween episode.
Compound.
So speaking of Hardy, it's the Hardy Compound. So check that out. And of course, you can see him on our full review of Bound for Glory, episode 112 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Thank you guys. If you haven't seen Bound for Glory and any of this helps you sway you in that direction, even more so for the better, but check it out. Great show from top to bottom. Thank you guys. We'll see you down the road. Thanks for rocking with us. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Check out Raven's freestyle diss on Diamond Dallas Page.
Subscribe.